Today I'd like to demonstrate how I painted these beautiful summer clouds at sunset. For years I've painted in traditional media such as water-soluble oils and acrylics, but more recently I've been using digital oils. For ease of demonstration, I will be using Corel Painter 12 oil brushes for this demonstration. In Painter you can load an image and then put a tracing paper layer over it so that you can create a sketch. I roughly sketch in 3 value areas. The first lighter area is value 2 or 3. These are the 2 light areas where the sky shows through the clouds. The rest of the sky will be the mid values of 4 and 5, and the lower part will be 6 and 7. I've just roughly sketched in the lower part because I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it just yet, but I can do that later on. Once I finish the sketch, I actually delete the photograph so I don't have a reference. It allows me to be a little more creative. The one thing that's good about this is that you can take and look at your lines and decide, do you have abstract shapes in there, or do you have clones? Clouds are very easy to clone. You ever see those little white cotton puffs in the sky? Things like that. So this is a good time when you can actually plan your painting and make changes. In the left top corner you can see what I've chosen as a palette of colors. They'll be ranging from a blue-violet down to the yellows. These are all pretty much complementary colors, the blues and oranges and the purples and yellows, and I also have added a little bit of a blue-green. Alright, I started the painting by laying down an underpainting of a burnt sienna. I chose this because I felt it would be a common color to help harmonize the whole painting when it was finished, and I wouldn't be having to worry about little white spots showing through. My next step was to start painting 2 of the 3 value areas. The 2 lighter areas were where the sky shows through, and then the rest of the sky I painted all the way right down to the bottom because I can cover up whatever I want later and not be worrying about having to fill in any spaces. During the rest of the video I'll start showing you how I actually painted over the underpainting. Here you can see I'm just trying to add some gradients of color into the very dark areas. I am using an oil brush that, if you continue using it without picking it up, it becomes a blender. Each time you pick it up, it's like new paint is being put on the brush, and it'll only hold as much as I've told it to hold. But I thought this would be interesting for you to see. Drag some of the darker color down, approximately in my dotted line here. You can see as I'm going along, it's making it softer. Now I'm starting to work with the lighter colors of the clouds to start getting towards the edges where the sun will be coming through. You'll see that I'm going to carry over into the sky opening on the right. And this will give the feeling of the lightness of the clouds with the sky showing through. As I go along, I continue blending, trying to get a gradation of colors in the different areas of the sky. What you see me doing up there is changing the size of the brush. And again, I'm using the brush as a blender to help bring some of the darker colors into the lighter colors. Now I'm going over to my palette to pick the blue-green color that I had chosen for the sky. You can see that the value of it is probably about a 3. I don't worry about going over some of the oranges because in the end I'm going to be blending a little bit of those together to give them the feeling of the fluffiness of clouds. I turned off the sketch mode, which was in my way, so I can blend the clouds into the sky more easily. I like the way it just gives a little bit of a fluffy appearance for the clouds. I'm bringing in lighter colors now as we get closer to the sun. I'm using brighter highlights on the clouds near the opening to the sky. This will help set the sky back as the highlights develop more. With most of the highlighting done, it's now time to put the color into the sky. You'll notice that some of the burnt sienna is showing through from the original underpainting, which is great because it gives the feeling of small distant clouds without having to paint them in. I'm working around the edges to try to produce soft and hard edges, which will help make the clouds feel more realistic, also adding a little brightness to the lower portion. A few more highlights and gradation of color around the opening in the clouds, and the sky will begin to feel like it's receding. Well, we're getting close now. A few minor adjustments and additions and blendings, and we should be done with the sky. I'll show you a picture of what it looks like when it's all done, which should be coming up shortly. There it is. We're ready for the mountains now, which is what I decided to do instead of the trees. I'm starting with the blue-violet, which is what I used up in the clouds originally, but you'll see it's blending in with the burnt sienna, so we're getting some nice effects. As we go along, I will pick some of the other colors from the palette to start highlighting. Now here I'm starting to bring some colors in from the sky to help give the mountains some shape. I picked the colors right out of the sky since these are the things that would be reflected in the mountains. Notice here that the center mountains now have very soft edges and are tending to blend into the atmosphere in the back of the sky. The mountains on the edge have sharper edges, although you'll notice I'm starting to delete those by adding what will feel like trees in the distance. Here again I'm using a dark purple, but it's picking up the colors from the underpainting and creating some very nice effects. In essence, I'm creating layers of trees, going from the darkest forward to the lightest as you get closer to the horizon. The multiple number of layers of trees with a varying amount of sunlight reflection on them is helpful in bringing you into the painting. As I said in the beginning of the video, I had no clue as to what I was going to be doing with the foreground. Even now, I'm just randomly putting in shapes to make it feel the way I want it to feel. This is one of the reasons why I don't like to have a reference photograph right in front of me. I can be much more creative and just use my principles of what would make an effective landscape. If you'll notice, I just picked up a blue from the sky, and I'm starting to add it into some of the tree areas. This is just to help harmonize the whole painting by bringing just little bits of sampling of a different color into the some other area of the painting. Well, this pretty much finishes the painting. All I have to do now is sign it, and then it's ready to go. I hope you enjoyed this and you found this helpful. I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you.